The mob boss was making secret plans at his table. He thought the blind man couldn't hear him, but the FBI agent saw the cables coming from under the piano. The man was listening to everything. Welcome to Delta Files. Before we dive into this powerful story of hidden surveillance, dangerous secrets, and unexpected heroism, tell me in the comments where you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be remembered, hit that subscribe button. Vincenzo's Italian restaurant had been a Chicago institution for 40 years. Red checkered tablecloths, dim lighting, and the kind of atmosphere where business deals were made over wine and pasta. For the past 3 years, Marcus Thompson had been their evening piano player, providing background music that helped mask private conversations. Marcus was completely blind, had been since birth, and possessed the kind of musical talent that made people forget he was there. Customers appreciated his discretion. He never looked their way, never seemed to listen, never caused problems. Just soft jazz piano that created the perfect ambiance for confidential discussions. FBI Special Agent Sarah Martinez had been conducting surveillance on the Torino crime family for 8 months. Vincent Torino Sr. used Vincenzo's as his unofficial headquarters, conducting business from the back corner table every Tuesday and Friday night. The location was perfect for criminal meetings, loud enough for privacy, familiar enough for comfort, and far enough from law enforcement attention. Until Sarah noticed something odd. She'd been observing from a surveillance van across the street, using directional microphones and high-powered cameras to monitor Torino's activities. But the restaurant's acoustics made it nearly impossible to capture clear audio recordings of the crime family's conversations. That's when she noticed Marcus. Every time Torino arrived, the blind piano player would subtly adjust his position. Not obvious movements, just small shifts that somehow improved the acoustics in Torino's direction. Sarah initially assumed it was coincidence. But after 6 weeks of observation, the pattern was undeniable. Marcus wasn't randomly playing background music. He was positioning himself to optimize sound collection from specific tables. Sarah decided to investigate further. She entered Vincenzo's as a customer, requesting a table with a clear view of both Marcus and Torino's usual spot. Over the next 2 hours, she observed Marcus with professional attention. The blind pianist's behavior was subtly strange. His head movements weren't random. They were systematic, like someone conducting acoustic surveillance. When conversations grew quieter, Marcus would lean slightly in that direction. When multiple conversations occurred simultaneously, he seemed to focus on specific voices. But what really caught Sarah's attention were the small electronic devices positioned near Marcus's piano bench. They looked like standard music equipment: a metronome, sheet music holder, small amplifier. But Sarah's training in electronic surveillance made her suspicious. After Torino left that night, Sarah approached Marcus during his break. "Beautiful playing tonight," she said casually. "Thank you," Marcus replied. His voice was calm, cultured, with no trace of the street accent she'd expected. "How long have you been playing here?" 3 years. Good acoustics, appreciative audience." Sarah studied his face. Even blind, Marcus seemed unusually alert, like someone trained in situational awareness. "Must be interesting, all the conversations you overhear." Marcus smiled slightly. "I try not to listen to private discussions. Professional courtesy." But Sarah noticed his answer was carefully phrased. He didn't say he couldn't hear, he said he tried not to listen. The next week, Sarah returned with surveillance equipment designed to detect electronic recording devices. What she discovered made her blood run cold. Marcus's music equipment was actually sophisticated audio surveillance gear. The metronome was a digital recorder. The sheet music holder contained a directional microphone array. The amplifier was connected to voice recognition software. Marcus wasn't just playing piano. He was conducting professional-grade audio surveillance. Sarah immediately called for backup and approached Marcus after his final set. "Marcus Thompson?" she said, showing her FBI credentials. Marcus's expression didn't change, but she noticed his posture shift slightly. "Yes? I'm Special Agent Martinez, FBI. We need to talk." Marcus calmly packed his equipment. "I was wondering when someone would notice." Sarah was stunned. He'd been expecting contact from law enforcement. "Sir, you're conducting unauthorized surveillance in a location frequented by organized crime figures." "Yes, I am." "Why?" Marcus finished packing and turned towards Sarah with the uncanny precision that blind people develop. "Because Vincent Torino ordered the murder of my sister 4 years ago, and the FBI couldn't prove it." Sarah's mind raced. She quickly accessed FBI databases on her phone. Marcus Thompson, Sister Angela Thompson, Unsolved Murder 2019, Suspected Organized Crime Involvement, Insufficient Evidence for Prosecution. Your sister was Angela Thompson, the witness who was killed before testifying? She was going to testify about Torino's money laundering operation. Someone leaked her identity and she died in a random carjacking 3 days before the trial. Sarah understood now. Marcus wasn't conducting surveillance for criminal purposes. He was seeking justice for his murdered sister. What have you recorded? Marcus smiled grimly. 3 years of conversations. Murder contracts, money laundering details, bribery schemes, witness intimidation. Everything the FBI needs to destroy the Torino organization. Why didn't you contact law enforcement sooner? Because someone in law enforcement got my sister killed. I didn't know who to trust. Sarah realized the complexity of the situation. Marcus had potentially gathered crucial evidence against a major crime family, but he'd done it through illegal surveillance methods that might make the evidence inadmissible in court. Marcus, what you've done is technically illegal, but if your information is accurate, it could help us solve dozens of crimes. Agent Martinez, I've spent 3 years listening to these people plan murders, organize drug trafficking, and corrupt public officials. I have recordings that could put Vincent Torino away for life. Sarah made a decision that would define her career. I need to hear these recordings. Marcus led Sarah to his small apartment above a bakery 6 blocks from the restaurant. The space had been converted into a sophisticated intelligence analysis center. Wall-to-wall recording equipment, transcription software, voice analysis systems, and detailed charts mapping the Torino crime family's organizational structure. Marcus, this is incredible. How did you learn to do this? Before I lost my job, I was an audio engineer for a private investigation firm. After Angela died, I used everything I'd learned to hunt the people who killed her. Sarah spent the next 8 hours reviewing Marcus's recordings. What she heard was devastating for the Torino organization. Clear audio of murder planning, detailed discussions of criminal operations, and evidence of corruption involving 2 judges and a police captain. Marcus, this evidence could dismantle the entire Torino crime family, but we have a problem. The recordings were obtained illegally. Exactly. Defense attorneys will argue for dismissal based on Fourth Amendment violations. Marcus had anticipated this. Agent Martinez, what if I told you that Vincent Torino discusses criminal activity loud enough for any customer to overhear? What if a concerned citizen happened to record conversations that were conducted in public spaces without expectation of privacy? Sarah understood. Marcus was offering to restructure the evidence collection to make it legally admissible. 6 months later, the Torino crime family was destroyed. 18 arrests, including Vincent Torino Sr., who received life without parole for ordering Angela Thompson's murder. The evidence was legally obtained through a joint FBI civilian operation that became a model for future organized crime investigations. Marcus continued playing piano, but now at a different restaurant. Occasionally, FBI agents would visit, not for surveillance but to hear him play. They'd leave tips with small notes. Thank you for your service. Marcus never discussed his role in the Torino investigation publicly. He'd gotten justice for his sister and helped remove dangerous criminals from the streets. For a man who couldn't see, he'd seen more than anyone realized. Now I ask you, have you ever met someone whose quiet presence masked extraordinary capabilities? Someone who used their unique situation to serve justice in ways law enforcement couldn't? Share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes the most powerful surveillance comes from those who seem invisible. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, subscribe, share, and help us honor those who seek justice through patient dedication and hidden strength.